Twilight movies are too long for an intro. Just start it. Just start it.
There were some movies, terrible movies, movies so awful, no one would touch. Then came a Matthew, sad little Matthew. Matthew decided these movies to watch. For every good movie, there's at least 10 bad. Matthew gonna drag himself through the crap to find the worst ones there are to be had.
Today's episode, Twilight Saga, Eclipse. Hello, Cullenses and Blacks alike. I am called Matt, and today we're jumping right back into a franchise I love, the Twilight series. Eclipse is the third movie in the Twilight franchise. A fact I occasionally forget because I almost reviewed it last year instead of New Moon. Legit, I cannot keep these movies apart. But hey, I don't have to do much of an intro, it's the same writer and actors. Unfortunately for them, Twilight can't seem to keep a director for more than a movie, so this one is directed by horror director Bill Condon, known for Hard Candy and that Black Mirror Bandersnatch movie on Netflix. That movie was great. Wouldn't be my first choice for a Twilight film, but hey, maybe he can improve it. Well, he did and he didn't. Let's take a look at Twilight Saga Eclipse. The movie starts very cinematically. Guy leaves a restaurant in the rain, there's a pretty clean transition from the pop cue. Took a job, working late. To more dramatic music as he's being attacked. If you showed me this without telling me it was a Twilight movie, I would be very down to watch the rest of the movie. And then Twilight comes in and ruins it.
Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice.
I guess Jacob is fire and Edward is ice? That tracks without being too forced. I mean, Jacob exudes heat and Edward is stone cold. But, for as big as Team Jacob was, the possibility of Bella ever ending up with Jacob was never really there. She flirts with him in the second movie, but by the end of it she's back together with Edward, and Jacob is just kind of jealous of the rest of the series. We find our leads kissing in a field of flowers, and Bella's shirt looks a little familiar. You jacking my style, Bella Swan? And they're back on their should I turn Bella bullshit. Edward says he'll do it if they get married, which she doesn't want to do? Like, I get that she thinks she's too young, but becoming a vampire is a way bigger commitment than getting married. Like, if you become a vampire, you're basically stuck with him forever anyways. Just marry the guy.
Where I come from, at my age, if the way one says I just got knocked up.
Then let's knock you up. I guess she's worried about appearances, but maybe like get engaged or something and, 2-3 years down the road get married. This seems like a non-issue, but it's going to continue to be a major conflict.
Like Jacob. He's going through a really tough time right now. His dad's really worried about him. I remember when that was you. You needed a friend. Jake was there.
Yeah, but when she was going through a rough time, it was Edward's fault, not Jacob's. The rough time Jacob's going through is absolutely Bella's fault. But Edward really doesn't want Bella to go see him because... Anyways, Anna Kendrick is the valedictorian. I know so fucking little about Bella's friends that after 3 movies, I'm not sure if that's a surprise or not.
Another party, Alice.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what you said last time.
Did this film just get a genuine laugh out of me? Damn you, Eclipse! Although it immediately becomes dramatic, so maybe that wasn't a joke? Also, at least part of what made me laugh is remembering Edward throwing Bella across the room. So the Cullenses bought Bella a ticket to visit her mom, and Edward's coming with.
Wait, there's 2 tickets? Super. That makes me really happy.
That one doesn't count. Billy Burke's too good of an actor. I mean, not in this series, but in other movies. I'm not totally sure what this trip adds, other than I guess Bella's gonna miss the human world as a vampire, but they can still, like, visit, you know? Call him on the phone or whatever. Oh, and the redhead's back. I feel a lot better knowing that that's what the characters call her too.
She is the one the redhead wants.
No, but the funniest bit is when Jacob tries to be all moody and his brothers totally call him on it.
Why haven't you called me back?
I had nothing to say.
Maybe we can get a break from Jake's obsessive inner monologue.
Wish Bella would call.
Wish Bella wouldn't call.
Maybe I should call Bella. Maybe I should call Bella and hang up.
And then that scene happens.
Sam imprinted on Emily.
Do I even want to know what that is?
Yay, imprinting, everyone's favorite. Just to be clear, the movie openly states that imprinting is not a voluntary thing wolves do, but that almost makes it worse. Like, in this movie, they talk about a guy who had to dump his girlfriend because he imprinted on someone else. It's just a really weird thing that makes any scene it's in super uncomfortable. Anyways, a vampire breaks into Bella's place and the other vampires sense him. But between finding this guy, stopping the redhead, keeping a watch on the Volturi, and feeding themselves, no one's left to watch Bella except dear old Jacob. So, I tend to like it when sequels have more lore than their predecessors. It helps the world feel bigger and keeps sequels from being too samey. But Twilight takes it too far. Like, the first Twilight is this very simple, like, dime store romance. Girl falls in love with hot vampire. That's all you need to know. And then the second one, and the third one, and going on with the series, they keep adding denser and denser lore about werewolves, and pacts between vampires and werewolves, and vampire history, and how vampire society is structured. And it's like, I don't care, I'm here for the romance story. It honestly makes the first Twilight feel like fanfic set in the universe of later Twilight stories. So they go way more in depth on the story from the first movie about the werewolf natives meeting vampires for the first time, which feels unbelievably inconsequential. Like, we don't really need any more than what's already been told to us. It's not like any of it is super relevant. So, the vampire in Seattle is building an army, and Edward figures the Volturi are behind it. They want the Cullenses dead, so Edward and Alice will join them. Because let's be real, Edward and Alice are the only members of this family that fucking do anything. Well, and Carlisle, but he was already a Volturi. Everyone else, completely useless. I know I complain about the lore being too complicated for a romance story, but the romance is also super lame. Like, it has taken a complete backseat to what's going on with the main plot. They're not even trying anymore. Jacob goes way over the line with a last-ditch effort to win Bella over, which realistically is where she should stop talking to him, but of course, that's not gonna happen. Bella tries to comfort this chick, but like, who is this? I'm pretty sure she had 0 lines in the first movie, and all I remember her doing in the second movie was voting against Bella becoming a vampire. It's a little late in the series to make us care about her. I mean, even the Jock Cullens tells jokes every now and then. She is by far the least interesting Cullens. And all we really get is, none of us had a choice, but you do, which is something Edward could have said, and no one would have to mention this character ever again. Although she does give us this sick rape revenge backstory.
I got my revenge on them. One at a time. Saved Royce for last so he'd know I was coming.
Fuck, man, that sounds awesome! Can we watch that movie instead? Like, legit, this is the most hardcore Twilight movie yet. Like, look at this shit. Anyways, we meet a group of vampires we've never seen before, and they're gonna be the main antagonists for the rest of the film. I mean, you got them in before the halfway point of the film, so you're doing better than the first 2 Twilight movies, but you still had ample opportunity to introduce them before this. I mean, like, their plan has been in place since the beginning of the movie. Why not introduce them at the beginning of the movie? I mean, honestly, this is more the redheads' plan than theirs, but they're still there the whole movie watching it all unfold. Their role in these events is kind of nebulous. But hey, that army of vampires are on their way, so the vampires and werewolves start mounting a defense. Bella tries to talk Jacob out of it, but like, Bella, an army of vampires is trying to kill you. Take all the help you can get. Also, why did it take me so long to notice Jasper's fake southern accent?
I didn't have quite the same upbringing as my adopted siblings.
Has he always had this? I feel like he spoke normal in the last movie. And his backstory also sounds like a way more interesting movie. Crazy Civil War love story about fighting vampires. Except, wasn't Jasper the newest vampire last movie? How did he turn during the Civil War if he's the youngest of all of them? Bella thinks maybe the redhead's behind the army, which the next scene just straight up confirms. There's not even a mystery to it. So we finally get a look at the redhead, and that's Bryce Dallas Howard. She wasn't Bryce Dallas Howard in the last movie, right? No, yeah, they totally recast this character with Bryce Dallas Howard. Not sure if that's an upgrade or not. Maybe, I don't really remember the other actress.
I think it's dangerous for us to be apart. How many times do we have to prove that? I'll be worried, you'll be worried, and we'll both be more vulnerable.
Okay, you're right.
You know what? I think that's the first time Edward has ever agreed with Bella. Great fucking couple. And then, Jacob just straight up proposes a three-way.
But you can love more than one person at a time.
Maybe the next scene will be less weird.
You guys are taking precautions. And...
Okay, Dad, please just don't worry about that.
Okay, no, scene after that one. Scene after that one.
Bella... No.
You said that you wanted me to have every human experience.
Not ones that will risk killing you.
Right, well, that concludes my review of the Twilight series. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye, like and subscribe. Just planting one on her hat. That's a normal way to kiss someone, right? Edward and Bella are camping out far away from the fight for Bella's safety and Edward's peace of mind. But they need a werewolf to cover her scent and let them know when the fight's finally starting. So of course, they send Jacob. Not any of the other werewolves who, haven't made a pass at Bella. Any of the ones who aren't insanely jealous. You could have sent any of them. And what do you know? A snowstorm hits, and Bella has to cuddle with the heat-producing werewolf to stave off hypothermia. Although, that's kinda on Edward for not just taking her to, a hotel or something. You had to be in the middle of the woods during a snowstorm. Although, just a few days ago was graduation. This has to be May or June, right? Do they get snowstorms in May in Washington? I live in Texas, I don't know. Also, is that fight gonna happen or not? I do not care about Edward and Jacob's shit. Unless that three-way's still on the table. Jesus, Stephanie Meyer finally set up the third act conflict before the third act, and then ran out of things to do before the climax. Literally all the stuff they set up isn't important until 20 minutes from the end of the film, as always. But boy oh boy, here it is. Why are these films so much better as action movies than romance movies? Fuck yeah, and aww. So Bryce Dallas Howard tracked Edward and Bella with her new guy thing, but Edward reveals she's just using him to avenge James's death. And the Edward-Bryce fight is less cool than the whole big battlefield, but hey, it works. Fuck, man, that's pretty cool. Also, that group of vampires we saw earlier is supposed to be the Volturi? No. I remember the Volturi. It was pale white dudes with the curly hair and the Lestat outfit. Maybe these kids are like the Volturi Jr.? Because the real Volturi come back in later movies. So, I don't know who these asshats are. But unfortunately in the tussle, Jacob gets attacked and dies. But Bella agrees to marry Edward. The end. And that's the Twilight Saga Eclipse. The fact that it is a better movie makes it worse. Like, there is nothing hilarious or egregiously awful about this the way there is with Twilight and even New Moon to some degree. So you're left basically twiddling your thumbs waiting for the few actually good moments. And I mean, it does have some good moments, it's not an awful movie, but there's just so much shit no one cares about. Honestly, if it weren't part of the Twilight series, it probably would have gotten no response, positive or negative. Which is lame. So you know what we gotta do? Watch something terrible. Something with no fucking budget. If you like this one, I reviewed New Moon, and until next time.
This will be my speech when I want everyone to throw diplomas at my head. So, thank you.
You gotta embrace the cliches, Jess.
They are the bread and butter of all valedictorians.
And that is why you are not valedictorian.
It just doesn't need cliches. The speech is gonna be epic.
Epic? It'll change lives.
Man, I can't wait for the next Twilight movie where Jacob, Edward, and Bella finally have that threesome.